Welcome. This is Civil Procedure 1. We're going to do a series of videos today regarding personal jurisdiction. In fact, the way that I'm going to try to do these videos is have two versions. The first set is going to be subject-specific videos that you can watch separately. The second session, which I am going to record later today with my other section, is going to be a one-take review so you can watch it from beginning to end. So whatever works best for you, watch one, the other, or watch both. Now this first video is going to be general comments regarding personal jurisdiction. So first I'd like to say be sure to apply the law as it exists today. So looking up on the screen, we have the Principles of Public Law from Pennoyer versus Neff. Well, the Principles of Public Law are where we began our analysis several weeks ago. However, it's not where we end our analysis. In the comments that come in a later part of this set of videos, we'll talk about the principles of public law and where they stand today. Are they good law? Are they bad law? They arguably good law and bad law. Okay, we'll talk about them later. But more pertinently, with your exams, apply the law as it exists today. Don't give me a history lesson. Don't give me a recitation of, oh, what happened in Pennoyer, and then later on the course decided Hess, an international issue, and the law changed yet again. We're not telling a story. What the law is today is what you should be analyzing. Next, when you are thinking about personal jurisdiction, either in context of multiple choice question, a short answer question, or a full-blown essay question, you need to analyze all issues that are reasonably raised by the facts. So if the facts arguably implicate specific jurisdiction, then talk about it. If the facts arguably implicate general jurisdiction, talk about it. If the facts arguably indicate that there's property that might be the basis for jurisdiction, then talk about in rem, quasi in rem, Schaffer, all of that. What I'm getting at is, on the one hand, you don't want to do negative issue spotting. So you don't start talking about issues to impress me with the breadth and depth of your knowledge. That wastes time and doesn't get you points. So think, for example, in the ALI session last week, we had the easier version of the Amazon fact pattern. Okay, there was no property at issue in that fact pattern. There was nobody being served personally in a state or being served personally that might give rise to or implicate transient presence. You wouldn't talk about tag jurisdiction. You wouldn't talk about in rem, quasi in rem at all, because the facts don't give rise to that issue. All right. However, those particular facts did implicate both specific and general jurisdiction, and the facts were written so that you could plausibly argue that there is specific or there's not specific, or that there is general or maybe there's not general. But what is clear is those facts implicate both of those bases. The facts arguably give rise to jurisdiction under each of those bases. So long as the facts arguably implicate or reasonably give rise to an issue, discuss it. And that also, the corollary to this is address all bases that arguably give rise to jurisdiction under the facts, even if you think one basis is dispositive. So say you decide to discuss four bases based on some set of facts. The facts suggest that you talk about tag jurisdiction and property jurisdiction and specific jurisdiction. And you conclude there's no property jurisdiction, there's no specific jurisdiction, but there is tag jurisdiction. You don't get to only analyze tag jurisdiction and say, I don't have to discuss the other bases because there's PJ. No, you discuss each and every basis that is reasonably implicated by the facts. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. All right, let's see, what else? All right, now what we're going to do is go into each of the separate bases. Don't turn the camera off yet. Here, I'm referring us to the Coggle. So what I'm going to be talking about here is first federal court jurisdiction. So on my website, if you go to the page with the Coggle, you can see this Coggle, which is a pretty detailed flow chart of personal jurisdiction. First, I'm going to talk about jurisdiction in federal court. Then I'm going to talk about state court jurisdiction, namely state court jurisdiction over property, in rem and quasi in rem. Then I'm going to talk about state long arms. Then I'm going to move on to the state traditional bases, such as domicile, consent, waiver, transient presence. And then finally, I'm going to move on to the minimum contacts test with a brief overview, a section on general jurisdiction, and finally, detailed discussion of specific jurisdiction. For further information, please proceed to the next video. Thank you.